Coming up on today's wrestling news, a WWE superstar and a shock sudden exit.
WCW wrestler signs with AEW.
Has the next NXT/TNA crossover been revealed?
And evil sporting billionaires. But enough about Manchester City, let's talk about them working with WWE.
What? I'm Adam Wilborn.
I'm Michael Hamflett.
And this is the news. Only one place to start, of course, today, Hamflett. The news everyone's been talking about since, yesterday afternoon, really, when this news dropped. That Dijak is departing WWE today, I believe.
Right now.
He posted on social media yesterday that the WWE hadn't chosen to re-sign him. His contract would be expiring, and therefore he'd be exiting the company on June 28th, which is, of course, today. Some excellent reporting on this from Sean Rossat of Fightful Select. Basically, the story goes that Dijak was notified that WWE weren't going to be re-signing him in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Well, he was notified that they were faffing about, basically. He shot a match for WWE Speed with Xavier Woods, and then Dijak says to Sapp that he has theories on that WWE had sort of planned to let his deal wind down for a while, which makes his call up to the main roster even more confusing. Corey Brennan also doing some great reporting on this. Dijak, well-liked, praised by officials in the company. He was actually set to challenge the NXT title, which kind of makes sense with the way they were booking him before he was suddenly called up to the main roster, back to Monday Night Raw for the WWE draft. Shawn Michaels a big supporter of Dijak. They have had a couple of minor disagreements in the past, but obviously HBK saw big things in the future for Dijak. He called him personally to welcome him back to the NXT brand when he went back to NXT. And Dijak would fly there for weeks at a time to get training because he lives in New Hampshire. So he really dedicated himself to this. No answer as to why Dijak was called up and then just not used. Talent expressed to Corey Brennan that they were surprised that if they're going to call him up, they're not going to use him. And Dijak told Sapp directly he could kind of tell something was afoot when he wasn't included in the plans for Raw in the first couple of weeks after the draft, because everyone else got video packages or were immediately thrust out there. He was, for several weeks, just not even brought to tapings. And when he was, it was kind of all moved around, and maybe he popped up on Main Event, or like I said, maybe he was doing some speed tapings, but he was never actually officially planned for an appearance on Monday Night Raw. No creative plans, as we mentioned at the time, when he was called up, but we all thought, that'd be fine. Look at him, you can do so many different things. You can continue his gimmick that he was doing in NXT, or just have him have mint matches, and there you go, sort of thing. They had begun negotiations, positive preliminary stuff according to sources, but then it all kind of went quiet from WWE. No serious negotiations really took place over the deal, and many people are shocked that WWE didn't even try and negotiate with him. One former WWE talent said that 20 years ago, Dijak would have had a job until his legs fell off. This is all very weird, Hamflett.
Really strange, this one. Mainly because, let's sort of put cards on the table here. His last run has been his best one.
Yes.
It hasn't all been smooth sailing in WWE for Dijak. Mixed fortunes in his original NXT run. Kind of came in at the tail end of the black and gold era when things were coming to a kind of natural end for NXT.
Great stuff with Keith Lee, obviously.
Yeah, and it always was pre-WWE. But AEW had kind of rendered the black and gold era of NXT a little bit redundant, and then obviously the pandemic well and truly finished it.
Yeah.
From there, speaking of the pandemic, of course, he survived Retribution. That's the only way to describe it. Yeah. He himself has kind of mocked that run, because how else do you approach that
T-bar.
run? Yeah, in the aftermath. How do you get past T-bar, right? Well, Dijak found a way. We speak with some sadness about this release because we lived through his NXT rebirth as this Dijak character, this throwback 80s Blade Runner / Terminator type, almost like a walking parody that made the parody real.
And he had an amazing match at Stand and Deliver.
Well, and this one, 2024 Stand and Deliver, it felt as though they were either going to call him up to the main roster because he'd kind of become undeniable on NXT, or just give him the belt. He was going to be the guy that maybe would keep it warm while they just finished getting Trick Williams ready, and maybe he would take it off him. Something like that. Anyway, it hasn't played out like that. And this is why it feels weird. I think the shock that we've maybe seen over Dijak leaving is not that, Dijak's gone, wrestlers move on, contracts come to an end, and so on. And his contract's been seen through. It's not a release that we're talking about here, but it just feels, the timing of it feels particularly weird. And it's not the first as well. You mentioned about the call-up and his being very different to that of a Lyra Valkyria or a
Andrade or anything.
Andrade, Ilya Dragunov,
Braun, actually, but yeah.
Braun Breaker. Like, I'm naming these, like, this has nothing to do with what Dijak said, but there have been call-ups that have clearly had plans in mind, and we're seeing them play out. You know, we're seeing this, like, booking of these new characters. This one reminds me a lot of what happened to Cameron Grimes, who kind of came up to SmackDown with nothing on, like, nothing,
Odyssey Jones.
Nothing to do, and seemingly nothing forthcoming from, like, the creative team ever, really.
The difference with Grimes was that you thought, well, he kind of done everything he can in NXT. You never really saw him as like, he just wouldn't have fit at that time in the world title picture, and he'd done everything else. Dijak, they could have said, well, do you need him right away? Because we could use him for a couple of months, either put the title on him or have him lose a big high-profile match and then just move him up to the main roster. Especially in this era of people not having to just kind of reset when they move up to the main roster. I understand, you know, when he first made that jump, it was a weird time in WWE, and no matter what you did in NXT, it was a complete lottery on the main roster. It felt like, okay, well, we've got the idea of what this character is now, and that can just shift onto the main roster. And then they just didn't do it. He's going to be fine. He's already probably getting bookings and what have you. I think there's already talk of European promotions wanting to book him. I mean, in theory, he could show up at Forbidden Door this weekend. His contract is expired. There's no non-compete there.
Yeah, all right, that's right. This is it as well. Like, the point at which he leaves, I think he finds himself as maybe as in demand or as valued as he has been in years. Again, if this had been a 2020, one of those awful pandemic cuts, and T-Bar is out in the market with his name as Mud, with, you know, the guy that's been hidden behind a mask and a terrible gimmick. Things might have been different. I think Dijak hits this time in his career with form and with credibility and with, like, you know, a rich history that people remember pre-WWE. I'm very, very interested to see what happens to him. Like, not to be disrespectful to him at all, I'm not sure I'd have thought he'd have left WWE in this kind of position 4 or 5 years ago.
I wouldn't be surprised if he shows up in TNA and then ends up working back again with NXT as part of this relationship.
We will see. We will see. And again, like, just it's interesting to me, like, when we see so many cases of NXT and WWE through Shawn Michaels and Triple H being more joined up. That cases like this occur. So I want to watch to see how often this kind of thing goes on.
More will come out about this.
Indeed. Switching over to AEW for now, where I guess so could Dijak this weekend, as you point out. But a very familiar face cropped up on television recently on AEW, encouraging people to ask questions about a potential signing. And Fight for Select have come through with the confirmation I think many of us will want to hear. Ray Lloyd, better known to wrestling fans as Glacier. Monday Night War's favourite sort of WCW 1998. We all remember the Blood Runs Cold, like, kind of infamous campaign, but Glacier kind of settling in as this Mortal Kombat character come to life in WCW. Was a nice cameo in the, I think it was the All In pre-show battle royal, maybe the Double or Nothing.
Double or Nothing, I was there, I remember.
Well, he was there breaking up a fight, one of the sort of typical people that you send out to do that on television, and many were asking if he'd been employed, and Sean Ross Sapp was able to confirm with a confirmation that he has indeed been hired as a producer/coach. The report goes on to note that, like, that doesn't necessarily mean he's retired as well. He actually worked a show for QT Marshall's TCW in February, as well as doing a couple of things in 2022. Yes, and it was the Casino Battle Royale, Double or Nothing 2019. So maybe the boots aren't completely hung up, but either way, this is great, isn't it, when you see the agents and producers out there breaking things up.
Yes.
Like, wait a minute,
I know that guy.
That's so-and-so.
Yeah.
You were right if you saw Glacier a few weeks ago and expect to see more of him.
Yeah, good spot, a good hire. I think really like Glacier, and I've had a pitch since that Double or Nothing Battle Royal, basically, that they should utilise him more, because it feels like he's Glacier, you've got a dinosaur, what killed the dinosaurs? I've pitched this for years, and now it finally could come true. A babyface team taking on the patriarchy. We're like, right, we've counteracted the little twat. We've counteracted the big twat in Christian Cage. I don't know how you deal with Nick Wayne's mom, because she's got to come annoying. But if you want to get rid of a dinosaur, got Glacier involved.
Or, I've said this a million times, some of my favourite things in pro wrestling, when two bitter rivals that have earned each other's respect after a long-standing grudge come together and shake hands. Imagine, like, Glacier and Luchasaurus making friends. Like an Ice Age dinosaur apology tour that the two of them go on.
Or maybe he gets involved next week. How do you stop a shark? Freeze the sea.
Undertaker's mystery partner. Book it. You can have that. You can have all of them if you want.
Yeah, there you go.
It's not just a news video. What are your fantasy bookings for Glacier? Let us know in the comments.
Yes, please do. But let's move on to the best wrestling show of the week, NXT, and talk...
sort of.
Let's talk about their relationship, their ongoing relationship with TNA, of course. You previously had Tatum Paxley showing up against all odds to challenge Jordynne Grace for her world title. Jordynne Grace obviously wrestled Roxanne Perez at Battleground. You're grounded! Battleground! Yo, winner! Ding, 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 ding.
What was all that, actually?
That was, sorry, it's been a while, but
it's been a while.
That's my Battleground sort of scene setting.
I feel like I've never seen or heard you do that.
Ding, 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 ding is a casino.
Mm-hmm. Why?
Because it was in Vegas.
Oh, Vegas. Do you know what? I've been to Vegas once before.
Have you? Where did you stay?
The beautiful Oyo Hotel and Casino, which I'm enjoying. Nice conversations with about possibly linking up with us guys.
We're going to be going, baby. We're going to be staying there. We're going to live there.
It'd be brilliant.
For a month.
No pressure on it. No pressure on Oyo, but obviously, booking if you're going to Vegas. But they've got a great venue for a live show. Speaking of great venues for live show, here's one like minutes walk away from Wembley.
What?
I know, yeah. It's crazy, right? Like the guys at Sweet Chin Disco are running an after party.
Are they?
I don't know what's going on beforehand.
Okay.
I'll have to just stay tuned, I guess.
Keep an eye on that one. But anyway, yes, Jordynne Grace has issued another open challenge for her TNA Knockouts World Championship, tweeting, "Send me someone better than me." Now, no word as to whether it is going to be an NXT superstar, but you can assume open challenge. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be someone from that roster. Hell, maybe considering what's going on recently, it's going to be Taz. But of course, Grace has held the Knockouts title since January, third reign with the title. I have an idea for this one.
Hit me.
Because I'm always thinking about NXT. It's always going on in the back of my brain. So title opportunity. Who's been complaining recently about the lack of title opportunities for people like them in NXT? I'll tell you, if you're not watching the show, what are you doing with your life? You call yourself a wrestling fan and you're not watching NXT. It's what I like to see. What I like to say and see is it's where the best wrestle. Anyway, so who's been complaining about a lack of opportunities? Number one, Fallon Henley, and number two, better get ready for this one, Dashing JC Jane.
I would absolutely love the pair of them turn up and then Jordynne Grace kind of kicking her ass.
Kick your ass.
I have a similar but different pitch.
Go
on. Big call here. Because somebody else, not quite like Dijak, but like she's kind of like in the contract periphery at the moment. What if Natalya?
Yeah, it's another one I was thinking
appears
of.
in TNA, not necessarily representing NXT, but at this point, not even necessarily representing WWE.
No.
She seems to be tiptoeing closer and closer to free agency. Obviously, we'll have all the news as and when others report and we can tell you about it. But yeah, like what if as one of her kind of current last acts or the freedom that she may be starting to court, she just rocks up in TNA.
I like that a lot.
Let us know who you think might be a good fit for this. Ultimately, of course, the TNA have their own roster, and we just saw recently, Ash by Elegance sort of getting in the mix at Battleground. So maybe as well, she's been laying claim to at least getting near the title in that little weird moment where she made her brief return to.
I know she's not wrestling now, but I always love Gail Kim, so I'm always going to stand
just Gail Kim.
Gail Kim's great.
Just love her.
She did a spot at the Newcastle show. It was awesome. Just give her the roof off the bloody place.
Give her the belt.
Lovely interview with her a few years back. Just lovely. Just great. More stuff for Gail Kim.
Speaking of Newcastle, it will eventually be my worst nightmare when Newcastle United parade the Premier League trophy at a WrestleMania because they're realistically owned by the same people. And speaking of that, Manchester City, current Premier League champions, have now
with an asterisk, but yeah.
linked arms with WWE. Yeah, explain the asterisk briefly for those that don't understand soccer war.
For those unaware, Manchester United and Manchester City even have been charged with 115 charges of breaking the rules, basically, because they spent far too much money. They cheated the system. So all of those titles they won kind of don't mean anything. And I don't care about you Man City fans. I support Chesterfield. There's nothing you can't do to me that they've not already done to me myself.
I'm trying to square this away as a Sunderland fan, right? If you're a Man City fan watching this, you're going to be buzzing with the news here.
Hey, it must have been a great 10 years of suddenly becoming a Manchester City fan when they got money. So my mate's a Man City fan from the Sean Goated days, so I can actually say that.
Sean Goated, more like. Feed the goat and he will score.
Yes!
So, there's no King Clancy t-shirts currently available, but you can get things such as the Man City.
See what they've done?
Aguero! 92, whatever it was, whenever he scored that goal. It probably shouldn't have been given, but Sky Sports needed the footage for 10 years to prove that the Premier League was still a competition rather than an arms race. And various other...
head of the table. Well, like top of the table.
There you go. Best in the world in football or something to say. But anyway, there's like...
Okay, goal, probably.
Various...
I can't remember, we're just making them up now.
It's a KO one, just keep spending. Various wrestlers...
Just keep cheating, probably.
Various wrestlers. Look, if you're a Man City fan, man. Sorry about this. It's
It must have been a real hard time for you when you won the treble.
yeah, that's it. You'll get over it. Crying to your trophies and your WWE t-shirts, which are available. However,
Crying to your trophies while you still got them. Yeah.
However,
sorry.
Despite our cynicism that you might be able to see,
What?
we can both agree they have made a WWE home strip. And there's like Fed logos and the numbers and
Fed
stuff. They're
logo.
going to wear them for a US friendly tour. Premier League trophy is going to be on sale, available to view in New York City. I think where there's a Man City shop alongside that other club that are linked up with Man City now. And of course, if you're a Fed fan in New York City this weekend, you're going to be going to the Garden tonight for
They've done a reduced
SmackDown.
set, haven't they, I've seen?
Yeah.
It's just going to be like the Royal Rumble back in the day. Oh my God.
Yeah, we're saying this a little out of jealousy. It's going to be pretty class.
I did
yeah.
a very, very clever tweet for those people who saw it at Adam Wilborn on X for just some excellent content. And hey, maybe cameo soon once I can actually get my arse in gear. I said, they've got the release this guy. I should put a picture of Hardland on there.
Oh, very good.
Imagine that, the Spider-Man meme.
Very good. I like that.
Because they've got a play called Erling Haaland.
I think
if you're unaware.
WWE had it.
It's great.
NXT, if you're also aware, had a wrestler called Hardland for a little bit.
Hardland.
So yeah,
Marco Boudreau.
one for the football, soccer guys, this. But yeah, WWE and Manchester City. Are you a fan of football? Are you a fan of a UK soccer team? Who would you like to line up with your team? Let us know your favourite suggestions for your favourite wrestlers or indeed favourite wrestling companies.
Yeah,
should they get involved.
who should AEW partner with? Presumably people who have half-empty stadiums. But, let us know your suggestions in the comments
Hang on,
section.
but that's Man City. Oh, we got him! We got them both!
Chesterfield!
Got them both.
Anyway, we're back later, aren't we?
Yeah.
More of this, you get double dose.
I don't even know if you want half of it. Well, until next time, anyway, there's a video probably somewhere here.
See you in a
And we'll
bit.
See you soon.
Bye.
Hey, yeah!